Hi there. In this video, we're going to talk about Tilray brands and another cannabis company, Canopy Growth. The question is, which one is better? Which one is a better investment right now? Because as you've probably seen, both companies went up in recent days, recent week. And the answer, you'll find it in this box. You'll find which one is a better investment between Tilray and Canopy Growth. So let's take it step by step. First, we look at each indicator and we mark with a plus and a minus. First, let's compare their revenue for full year 2025. First, Tilray. Tilray revenue over 821 million. Canopy Growth revenue 187 million. So Tilray makes more money than Canopy, right? So Tilray gets a plus. Now let's look at their earnings because this is the most important thing. Tilray for full year 2025 a loss over 2.1 billion, close to 2.2 billion. Canopy, if you look at their earnings, a loss over 400 million for 2025 full year. Now here is the trick. You have to look at their earnings over a longer period because in some years they might have some impairments, as Tilray had in 2025 and 2023. For instance, 2024, the loss was about 244 million. And for Canopy, their losses are higher than 200 million, over 400 million here, and of course over 2 billion here. For sure they had an impairment. So as you can see, Canopy Growth has higher losses than Tilray. So again, I will give a plus to Tilray for their earnings. Even if 2025 their loss was higher, but that was to some impairments. So another plus for Tilray. Now let's also look at the number of shares because this is quite important. Dilution. Dilution is a massive risk for those companies. The more shares they issue, the more you lose in value. So let's look at the number of shares. From 23 to 25, the number of shares for Tilray has increased from 600 million to 900 million, close to 1 billion more recently. And for Canopy, the number of shares has increased from 51 million to over 205 million. So 4x. 4x for Canopy, and Tilray close to a double. So again, a plus goes to Tilray. Their dilution was lower than Canopy Growth. Now let's look at their balance sheet. Tilray brands, cash 266 million, debt close to that level. Canopy, almost the same thing. Cash 225 million, debt 214 million. So here it's equal. Both get a plus. Now, let's also look at their segments. Tilray, ask the question, how do they make money? Tilray makes money from cannabis, beverage alcohol based on cannabis and hemp, distribution in Europe, medical cannabis, and wellness. So Tilray has a diversified portfolio, a diversified business. Now let's look at Canopy. How do they make money? Cannabis, adult use, medical use, and international markets, and stores and retail, vaporizers and accessories. So again, when you look at those two companies, you will see that Tilray has more ways of making money than Canopy. So again, another plus based on their business model, because it's more diversified, goes to Tilray. Then, let's also compare the market cap, because this is important. Let me explain why. Tilray brands market cap 1.3 billion. Canopy Growth market cap 346 million. And why is this important? You can see Tilray has a higher market cap. Well, when someone invests in this company, fund, ETF, the lower the market cap, the higher the return will be. And also, if you have a short squeeze. because if someone short this stock and you have some buyers, good news, you'll be forced to buy back those shares and it'll push the stock price even higher. So the increase in the stock price may be higher for Canopy because of the small market cap. But you also have to know that Tilray brands is well known. I mean, people know more about this company Tilray than Canopy Growth. So again, if you were to compare their market caps, yes, on a short squeeze, if you have the same trend in both companies, a plus will go for Canopy because they have a low market cap. Now, from what I've noticed, the sentiment goes to Tilray. People like more this company because they also have some operation in the US, international, more diversified, and the growth is higher. So, yes, you can also give a plus to Tilray, but in this case, let's be conservative. A plus goes to Canopy. Now, you also have to look at the growth in the revenue because I compared their numbers in the revenue, but if you look at the growth rate in revenue for Canopy, a decline from 244 million to 170 million has started to decline year by year. But for Tilray, this company went up. The revenue went up 600 million, 700 million, 800 million. So again, this plus is justified here for their revenue. Now, if you look at their prices, they are both the same. Only that the increase in the stock price for Tilray was higher than Canopy. Now, the value, as I said, you don't have to focus only on the price. You also have to look at the value, the market cap, the value of this company. So the value for Tilray brands is higher than Canopy and is well justified because of the higher revenue, lower earnings, less dilution, and a well-diversified business. Now, the good news about Trump administration to reduce taxes, Schedule 1 and Schedule 2, this is applicable because also Canopy can expand in the US. They can take advantage because, as you've seen, when some ETFs funds start to invest in cannabis stocks, they push all stocks up or cannabis stocks go up. So here is like the ETF. Tilray, Canopy makes part from the same industry. And that's why you see increases in both stocks. So the next wave, when we see another jump in their stock prices, you will see an increase for both. But for some, the increase will be higher, especially if Tilray continue to increase the revenue and reduce their losses. Their increase in the stock price may be higher than Canopy. Then new products. You may see new products for Tilray, more products, for Tilray. So here, another plus goes to Tilray. Because as they have a well-diversified business, they can create different products. For Canopy, they are more limited, but you will see some new products. And then, short squeeze, as I said, Canopy may have an advantage over Tilray. So now let's count the pluses. Tilray. 1 plus, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Canopy, only 1, small market cap. So, as you can see, 5 higher than 1. And now to open the box and show you which one is better, which company is a better investment, the answer is here. Tilray. Tilray is a better company than Canopy. Now, you also have to be aware that the increase in the stock prices may be different. It also depends on the news. Yes, the news for the entire industry will go to both companies, but you also have to be aware of their growth rate in revenue and earnings. If Canopy reports a high growth rate in the revenue and reduce their losses, yes, the increase in the stock price may be higher for Canopy Growth. But from a business perspective, and future, long term, Tilray, yes, indeed, is a better business. They have a better business than Canopy. And you also look at dilution, and this is quite important. Even if you have a spike in the stock price of Canopy in the short term, in the long term, the decline, your return may be lower than Tilray Brands. So, in my view, Tilray Brands is a better business and also may be a better investment than Canopy. Now, if you want something better than those two companies, better investment ideas that can deliver you more than 2x on your investment and with low risk, no dilution, you can simply go to my profile, press join, choose Titan Investor, and have access to my portfolio. If you look at my past prediction, you will see that most of them came true. And by the way, all my stocks are up from my portfolio. So I have really great investment ideas. I'm a picky investor and I know what to choose. Then you also get access to an investing course, in-depth analysis, plus bonus a stock prediction challenge. If you can predict the increase in the stock prices of Tilray or Canopy, choose whatever you want, submit your prediction, and if it comes true in the next 40 days, you get all my money from Titan members. So you not only get a lot of value from my investment ideas, my portfolio, but you also have the chance to win all my money from Titan members. And if you have other questions about my portfolio, my membership, or those two companies, please let me know in the comments.